Have you been looking at keyboards and you're not sure why some cost so much more than others? It's most likely because the expensive ones are mechanical. Mechanical keyboards use actual switches on the keyboard instead of a rubber pad that senses the touch. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of Corsair's most popular mechanical keyboards, the Vengeance K70. What's up guys, this is Travis, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Vengeance K70 mechanical keyboard from Corsair. The keyboard I have here is just the normal edition, so it has red LEDs instead of the multicolor LEDs on the RGB edition. Though keep in mind that besides the LEDs, they're almost identical. Inside the box, you get the keyboard, a wrist rest, a key remover, and some extra textured keys. The additional keys are meant for finding your way back to the W, A, S, D, and numerical keys easily. This is a full-size keyboard, although it does not have any macro keys like the K95. The included soft touch wrist rest is very comfortable even after long periods of gaming. It feels much better than the one included with the Logitech G710 Plus, in my opinion. Luckily, we find a blacked out Corsair logo, not the yellow tramp stamp. The K70 has a nice spready cable that is almost unnecessary for a keyboard because it's not moving anywhere. It splits out to two USB 2.0 ports, one for the keyboard and one for the USB pass-through. Though keep in mind that it is not necessary for the second one to be plugged in to operate the keyboard. Next to the cable, we find a switch that changes the polling rate. It has 1, 2, 4, and 8 milliseconds, and also includes a BIOS mode. Usually, you should just leave it on 1 millisecond, but the BIOS mode can be helpful if you're running older hardware. Near the switch, there's a full-fledged USB 2 pass-through. The K70 features fully programmable lighting for each individual key, and the two modes for lighting let you switch between fully backlit and your customized preset. You can set up your preset by holding down the lighting button and then selecting keys you want on or off. Then hold it back down to just exit the process. Next, there is a brightness key to choose between 3 levels of brightness and off. There is also a Windows lock so that you don't get pulled out of a game in case you hit the Windows key on accident. The keyboard is made of plastic and a solid brushed aluminum top plate. A unique feature of the keyboard is that its keys are actually elevated over the top plate, so it allows easy cleaning and lets the light spill out for an underglow effect on the sides of the keys. Of course, all these features are awesome, but how is it when you're typing? Well, it's great. I have the Cherry MX red switches, but it also comes in browns and blues. The red switch is a linear switch, so it is a smooth slide all the way down. It has a 45 gram resistance and a 2mm actuation point. Its complete travel distance is 4mm. Unlike rubber dome switches, mechanical keyboards can be quite loud, as they're probably louder than a reference 290X. I find the reds really great for gaming, although they also work for typing too. The reason I like them in gaming is because you can spam them so fast and they pop up really quickly, so you can get quick movements when you're playing a game. If you're really just a typist though, I would recommend sticking with the browns or blues, as Corsair also does make a K70 with the switches. Above each switch you find individual LEDs. A downside to having lights here compared to under a clear switch on the RGB model is that they can be prone to static discharge, causing them to die. Personally, I have not had a problem, but I've heard of friends and people online having that problem after only a month or two. There are rubber feet on all 4 corners and the wrist rest. There are not only adjustable feet on the back, but also on the front too, allowing for many positions to keep your hands most comfortable. By default, it slopes upwards just a bit. By just putting the back feet up, you can increase the angle of repose and cause the K70 to slope upwards even more than default. If you put the front feet up, it will rest flat. The next position would be to raise all 4 feet. In this position, it would be at the same amount of slope as the default position, but raised up an inch or 2. Unfortunately, that setting is practically unusable because the elevated feet do not have any rubber pads, causing the K70 to slide all around my desk when I'm typing, and I cannot recommend it at all. The wrist rest actually rotates, so no matter what position the keyboard is in, it will still sit correctly on your desk. I also want to talk a little bit about cleaning the keyboard because many reviewers do not talk about it, but it is of great importance when you do own a mechanical keyboard. The first thing you want to do is remove all the keys and either lay them out or take a picture of your keyboard beforehand so you know the layout of the keys. Because the K70 is brushed aluminum, I used rubbing alcohol to clean the metal and canned air to remove the dust in the switch, although you could substitute the rubbing alcohol for Windex. Then I used a posture strainer to rinse all the keys out and let them dry. The last and most tedious part is putting all the keys back on, but if you keep your mind at it, you should be able to get it done in no time. I want to stress that if the keys or keyboard is still a little bit damp from the Windex or water cleaning, do not turn the keyboard on as it could short it out. To conclude, I'm going to go over the main pros and cons. The pros of this keyboard are the great feeling mechanical switches. I love them a lot. The customizable lighting is awesome, and the aluminum build is so solid that I had a hard time even bending the keyboard at all. The cons would have to be the lack of rubber pads on the flip out feet, and the LEDs are susceptible to static discharge, unlike the RGB edition. Now for those of you who stuck around, I appreciate it, and I'm going to show you a bit of a secret feature that Corsair has incorporated into the K70. If you press the control and the lighting toggle at the same time, the lights will all turn off and you will now be in a reactive typing mode, where each key will light up for about half a second after you press it. This is a really great keyboard, but it is quite expensive at $130. Of course, that's not too bad for a mechanical keyboard, but you should not be sacrificing higher end parts like CPUs and GPUs just to be able to afford any mechanical keyboard. Overall, using mechanical keyboards is a much more satisfying experience than rubber dome. And on this model, the LEDs really do look great. If you have a keyboard that you like or think could compare to this one, tell me what it is in the comments and maybe I can get a review sample from the company. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like and share with your friends. It does help out a lot. And of course, if you don't want to miss my water cooling build guide coming up next month, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next one.